going to overcome. No matter how much the structures try to keep us down, humanity is going to win. And I ask all of you to support the moratorium and get creative. I think about BJM.
Can you please sum up?
Yes, my son, one of my sons, I have 4 kids. One of my sons was hired to be the chef for the cutting up of the fruit and vegetable program at BJM. So the kids could get a little taste of some fresh stuff that's locally grown. That program is hanging by a thread. The kids only get to eat fresh stuff once a week now. That's just one tiny little example of what our $1 million can go to. So thank you.
Is it Mark Sargent?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, it can be difficult to pronounce. Okay. So, I was going to say something about how mass incarceration is barbaric, but a lot of people in the room have family members who are in jail and have already told you how mass incarceration is barbaric. And we have people in the community who have already told you about how vital community resources are being underfunded. And I could talk about how I read in the paper last week about how the food banks are running out of food because they don't have enough resources. And so we can talk about all these things, and we can talk about the fact that what money is being found for is to increase the county jail capacity. And I wonder what the point is of this. And I wonder why exactly we need to be sending our tax money to put people in jail. And because I don't want to attack any individuals here, we can say that there's an institutional problem, as we've heard about repeatedly throughout the evening, about the way that the law enforcement in this community acts. And do I trust these people to put people in jail for good reason? No, I do not. And I don't think anyone else in the room, after hearing today's presentation, about which I will not name specifics, because I wish to follow the directives of the man up there, so I won't name any specifics, Your Honor. But we understand that there is a fundamentally corrupt system here, and that it is not putting people in prison in responsible ways, and that you cannot put people in prison in responsible ways. So I'm being asked why, or I'm asking myself, why we need to put $1 million that's on the budget, plus who knows how much that's not going to be on the budget, into increasing a system that's incapable of working in its very constitution. And that is the question. And I think there's an opportunity for an answer from all of you. All of you who have been listening patiently to all of us offer all these reasons for why the jail expansion should not go forward. For that reason, I do really hope that all of you who have been listening very patiently to the community come out here and offer all of our complaints, can take those complaints in hand and vote in the responsible way with the voice of the community, which has come out in force, to ask you please to put the moratorium in place for this jail expansion and hopefully go on to table it permanently, because it is not what the community wants, it is not what the community needs, and it is not what is good for the community. Thank you.
This on? So, is there a clock?
Is there a what?
Clock? So yeah, my name is Claire Grady, and I'm here to say yes to the moratorium on jail expansion. I want to thank Leslie for putting that forward tonight and all legislators who are going to support that. And I'm here to thank the grassroots movement that's brought that to the top of the table for so many of us, more and more and more of us. And I would echo Natalie to say that you are beautiful. Thank you for being here, and thank you, Julian, for your poem. Where are you? So, the part of the conversation that we're right now is talking about alternatives to incarceration. But it feels really important to note that alternatives to incarceration are people talking about people who are already in the system. And it feels really important to say that the system, I think it's irrefutable evidence now, from the get-go, has legalized the criminal behavior of the government and criminalized human beings for being poor and being people of color. That is from the get-go. And I'm not done saying that. I'm not done saying that. So that when we kill people as a matter of policy, routinely, that is given a bonus. And when we steal billions and trillions from our children and our children's future, that's also given a bonus. And yet our jails are filled with people who are on the receiving end of that criminality. So I'm going to continue to say that and put that in perspective for myself. So here we are looking at alternatives to incarceration. It seems really important at this moment to not just look at what do we do when people grew up in a landscape that's already inequitable, that some people's children, before they're even born, as one mother said to me, she looked me right in the eyes, a black woman said, "I have 2 sons. They built their jail cells before my sons were even born," is how she said it to me. So that why is it that some people have a higher risk of not only being jailed, but not having education, not having jobs, not having what it is to have well-being? Why is it that we can predict that before people are even born? So those are systemic things, and people in this room are about their life's work to change that system. And I thank you, and let's give each other energy for that. But I want to bring us right here, right now, to February of 2014. 4 years ago, here in our town, we experienced the fatal shooting of fellow Ithacan Sean Greenwood. Sean Greenwood grew up in Ithaca. Sorry? I would ask if someone else has 3 minutes that they could give me, because this is actually really key.
Someone give her 3 minutes. Who is next?
Somebody, this man here is giving me 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Say your name, sir, please.
Thank you. Sean Greenwood grew up in this landscape of Ithaca. As a black man, his choices were limited. Sean Greenwood, even in his death, experienced the racism of this system. He was denied his humanity by being called by the police and then the Ithaca Journal and then every reputable source a drug dealer who basically just brought about his own death. I want to ask how many people in this room even questioned the story that was given by the police and the Ithaca Journal about the details of his killing? How many people questioned them and looked into the matter for themselves to find out the truth of the killing of Sean Greenwood? Okay, we have work to do and we can help each other with that work. The truth was kept out. One of the key witnesses who was right there within feet of Sean's killing said that officer who was said to be in front of the van was never in front of the van. Okay, that's one witness, but her testimony was left out of the public document. Her testimony was left out. And who knows if that was even shared. Well, we know can quite guess that that was not shared with the grand jury. What's really important is that 4 years ago, the community leaders of color held a forum at the Southside Community Center where people could speak to the mayor, the district attorney, and the chief of police and talk, why did Sean get killed? They brought their intelligence, their heart, their soul, their passion, and spoke to the leader, not just about Sean's case, with good questions, but with their own experience of lifetime living in Ithaca, being most at risk of being not only incarcerated, but being under lethal force. So those questions, I would say that those are the people that we stand poised to help find alternatives to their incarceration. That for me, there's a corollary between the respect we give them about undoing the system and even giving them the respect of an answer to their questions Instead, we walked away from them and their questions. We treat them now like the subjects of our good deeds, like we are going to help you avoid incarceration. When you have just brought to us the truth of the killing of your brother, Sean Greenwood. So I say that is actually part of our work, not only to undo this system, but to provide alternatives to incarceration. And it's not just other people's incarceration, it's a collective incarceration. And thank you for that sign that says we are all affected, we are all connected. Thank you. And in memory of Sean Greenwood, it will say, let's continue. Let's continue this work.
Thank you, Jamie Hendricks.
The memorial for Sean Greenwood is on Sunday at 4:30. The Amy Zion Church.
Jamie Hendricks from Pittsburgh. So whatever your impression may be of us, and there are a variety of impressions, there is one thing I can assure you, we're actually organized and we have a plan. And that plan is becoming richer and more detailed every day, that we make new connections, and we find new people with useful information. So basically what we're asking is that you give us an opportunity just to show you that we have a plan and that we're really serious about reducing the number of people in jail. It's not just about stopping an expansion, it's really about reducing the number so that you don't, or we don't have to worry about the state forcing a bigger jail on us. Just I've met with many of you individually, just with Joey Cardamon and other people, and we understand that you thought you had really good reasons to do this renovation/expansion, specifically to avoid building a bigger jail. And basically, what we as a community collectively are saying is, let's be creative, let's think outside the box, let's stop listening to the state telling us what to do. Since we are the ones who have to pay for it, let's just decide how we are going to spend our dollars and how we are going to deal with this issue of the variances. Because I understand that's a practical decision, that you're afraid the variances will be pulled and that you have to pay more on outboarding. So what we are here as a group trying to show to you is like we will pull together our collective intelligence to go and talk with the State Commission of Corrections and say them, don't do this trick of reducing the variance and don't come and tell us we need a bigger jail, because we want Tompkins County to be the leader. That is a reputation that it has now because of decisions that you all made in the past. That's basically what you're asking you, to continue that tradition of being a leader in innovative thinking about alternatives to incarceration and show it to all the New York State counties that are struggling with this issue. And to just like a final comment, I was in the county attorney's office this afternoon talking about how to get access to the jail data, and I was told, and I kind of figured that out by looking at other counties, many of the people in jail are young people and they have like DWI issues, the drinking while intoxicated or drug issues. So is that not a sad state of affairs, that our young people that have difficulty with impulse control, that we send them to jail? So now